right, we'll stay in the NFL, and we'll get to our recap now, which is odd because there's two games still yet to be played. The football team and the Eagles about to get it going here shortly, as are the Rams and the Seahawks. So two division tilts on for this evening. Probably should be kicking off here in the next 10 minutes or so. But with that being said, we got to keep it moving. A lot of action to get through on Sunday, including another 2-point call that went awry for John Harbaugh, and also the Lions winning another game, this time against the Cliff Kingsbury Kyler Murray Cardinals. Drink, go ahead. What stood out to you on Sunday?
Well, let's just start off where you left off. Kneecaps versus Cliff Barry. You know what I'm saying? This action-packed whopper right here going down in Arizona. Bubbling and fumbling, Listen. Hey, man, shouts out to Kneecaps, man. Let me tell you. It's hard to watch these lines and just be like, yo, man, this is a great product for TV. But let me tell you, man, just go out there and watch these guys be scrappy and see, so many years where they just ain't done worth talking about. We want them to come off Thanksgiving games, even though they're like a traditional landmark pretty much for the NFL. And then you go and defeat the Cardinals, which came off a pretty riveting game against their foes, their divisional foes, the Los Angeles Rams, in a game where, they could have won, things went their way. And you think when they get ready to host the Detroit Kneecap Lions, that they'll be ready to play. And that's 12 points. Did I mention that Detroit put up 30? I mean, Cardinals, we've been out here talking about you being contenders in the You let the Detroit the Kneecap Lions put up 30 points only for what, their second win of the season? I mean, hey, Cliff Barry, yo, they trying to give you the Coach of the Year trophy. They trying to give it to you, but doing stuff like this, listen, this is not gonna cut it. We might have to get that to Sean McVay. You keep this mess up, it's just gonna go over to Sean McVay. Maybe Andy Reid after that performance, how they started. But hey, man, they trying to give you the trophy. You need to get it together. But that was one game that kind of got my attention because I know the Cardinals are without some key players, but 30-12 to the Detroit Lions, I don't know about that, Chief. I don't know about that one. And then down to some of my favorable losers of the NFL, the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. You talking about two teams that couldn't fill up a stadium no matter what. These are two teams right here. You can get seats anywhere you want at any given time when these two teams are the two teams that play. With that said, the Texans, out of all the teams that's, pretty sorry and lackluster, I think the Texans are the best because, I don't expect much from that first-year head coach. I never expected much from Tyrod Taylor. I definitely don't expect much from David Mills. Brandon Cooks, this is by far the best team he'd have been on. He'd have been the most productive on this team. All these other teams he was on, he was just a fast guy that really had problems catching the ball. Now he learned how to catch the ball. So the Houston Texans, I'm telling you, if I really just gave a darn, I would really like them because they're just lovable losers. But then by the fact that they rolled in and they played Jacksonville, that's just the most publicized losers of this year because, they head coach, he kicked better than the kicker. They got him on out of here. And then, everything that's going on there, somebody had to win or lose. And let me tell you, I did not see Texas throwing up 30. I did see Jacksonville throwing up 16. That seemed about status quo. But for Houston to throw up 30, I thought that was quite interesting. So if you're going to be bad, just blow out other bad teams. But, I had to give a shout out to those two sorry suckers that's going to probably be top 5 picks when it's all said and done. So those was 2 games I looked at. I combed over. Other than the games we already spoke about, Jay, what say you?
Yeah, the two games that stood out to me. I thought Green Bay and Baltimore that was an important game, both sides. To me, and I've been saying this for a while now, Baltimore was kind of doing that whole act where they just went on the skin of their teeth. You know, they had that what they have 5-6 game winning streak early on. Lamar Jackson just doing what he does, just making it happen, despite the fact that this team has just been decimated at just various positions with actual injuries, not health and safety protocols. Uh, but like it's turned around. Now you got three straight losses. These three losses by combined 4 points. Two of them because of failed 2-point conversions to end the game. Now I think this one now, I didn't love the one a couple weeks ago against the Steelers.
Right.
This one I didn't hate because you're going up against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. We know how formidable they are, even though I didn't think they played their best game.
No,
But I didn't mind this one. To me, I think if you're Baltimore, you feel like, oh man, especially, and they did not look like they did a nice little comeback to you make it interesting. Green Bay had them in this game, and then they let them back in it. All right, maybe we can steal one from them at the end of regulation. We don't want to go into overtime because we think Aaron Rodgers is going to get us in overtime. And that thing to where some of these things, you having some good fortune at one part of the season. The Ravens were having good fortune to start the season. They went in a lot of close games, and now it swung back in the opposite direction. And I think they're in some real trouble. The one good thing I will say though is, man, I'm impressed with Tyler Huntley. I really am. I like the way he plays. He's got great athleticism, just like Lamar Jackson. But I tell you something, it almost feels like he throws the ball a little bit better, dare I say. That's just what I see. I'm not advocating for the guy to play instead of Lamar Jackson. I'm just telling you what I see.
Are you saying Huntley could take him to the Lamar Hunt Trophy? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not what I'm saying, because I'm gonna tell you, like, I don't think I don't know. There may be Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers could take this team all the way, but they just wounded, man. This is a wounded animal out here walking around, and the AFC North has turned out to be just a bucket of mediocrity. It really has. But I mean, you can't be like Baltimore ain't doing that. Baltimore, if they make the playoffs, they're not going anywhere. They got too many issues. Lamar Jackson he hasn't taken that next step in his development throwing the football. I think regardless of what happens, they get in the playoffs. They might be able to sneak one game out, but they're gonna go out of here pretty early in my estimation. Green Bay didn't play their best game, but we know they are a different team on the road. I don't think they're quite as good, but that's why I think the number one seed for them is critical. I think that'll be helpful. That's the one team in the NFC that I think it would be a big boost to. So I think they could use that number one seed because they play a lot better at home. But look, Aaron Rodgers out there doing what he does, man. I mean, Devontae Adams, Valdez-Scantling, that two-headed running back combination. There's a lot to like on that team. They're playing well. They've dealt with some things the offseason with Aaron Rodgers. Was he going to play? Then he comes in, and now you have the immunized so-called controversy that it seems like we're miles away from that now because they're playing so well. But this is an example of one team trending way up and another team trending down. The classic case of two teams heading in opposite directions, and the other one, Pittsburgh and Tennessee. I've had some teams on fraud alert this year, and I keep Tennessee. I've been telling people Tennessee is. Look, I will say, if Derrick Henry's playing, maybe it's different. But Derrick Henry is not playing, and without Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill is not that dude. Ryan Tannehill has 14 touchdowns. and 14 interceptions. If you're on the old 1-to-1 ratio, you're not doing so hot. And this was an atrocious performance. But meanwhile, you know what's interesting about this is they actually the kid Deontay Foreman, they got a real good game out of him. 22 carries, 108 yards. I thought he played a great game. So you essentially, he's obviously not Derrick Henry, but you still had a competent running game, and you couldn't throw the ball. And I know it. He don't have his weapons. He don't have AJ Brown, and I think Julio Jones. Medium rare. Stick that fork in him. I don't think he's there. This ain't the Julio Jones that was out here balling with the Atlanta Falcons for so many years. So I get he don't have the weapons. But I'm gonna tell you something. If you pay the man $30 million a year, he need to make lemonade out of lemons. Well, he need to make lemonade out of cranberries. He got to do something, man. This is not it. This is not it.
Lemonade out of cranberries.
I know. But I'm gonna tell you, look, Ryan Tannehill and the Titans, fraud alert. Not that Pittsburgh is all that great, but look, I'll tell you, the minute you want to count Pittsburgh out, and look, after that sorry performance they had against Minnesota, like one of the worst halves of football I've ever seen. Of course, they made almost a comeback for the absolute ages. But I tell you, when their defensive players are some of their defensive stars are in, TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, Joe Hayden, these guys have missed some time. When they all play, this defense looks like something. And Joe Hayden coming up with the tackle to seal the game at the end, I thought that was a big deal. Pittsburgh's still alive. The AFC North is going to be wild to watch for the last 3 weeks. You got the Bengals and Ravens at 8-6. You got Pittsburgh 7-6-1, and Cleveland. Cleveland is 7-7 off the last second field goal. The whole team has COVID. It's Kevin Stefanski. Where is he got it too or whatever. They got. Who would have thought yesterday we would have? Nobody betting anything had the coaching matchup as being Rick Bisaccia or whatever his name is against Mike Pfeiffer. Nobody had that coming in the gear. What a week. 2 games left to be played tonight and 3 weeks to go. It's going to be a wild ride.